don't want it to be making noise, right? The Shem Chukosh. Shabbos. Shabbos and Malkah office. Askini Sidu saw the Maimani saw Shlima saw Hedra saw the Malkah Kadish. Askini Sidu saw the Malkah. Taisidu saw Rivio, the David Malkah Beshicha. The Avram Yitzchak v'Yankov, Avram Yitzchak v'Yankov, Avram Yitzchak v'Yankov, Asin Usadei Bahadei, David Melech Yisrael, David Melech Yisrael, David Melech Yisrael, Chai v'Kayim, Ahoy, Simentav Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simentav Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simentav Yahai Luni, L'chol Yisrael, Umein, Skinis to the saw, the Mamani saw, Shlaim was a head, was a de Malkah Kadi, Skinis to the saw, the Malkah, so this a Rivio, the Malkah Mashiach, Avram Yitzchak v'Yankov, Avram Yitzchak v'Yankov, Avram Yitzchak v'Yankov, Asin Sadei Badei. Ay, David Melech Yisrael, David Melech Yisrael, David Melech Yisrael, Chai v'Kayim. Ahoy! Simentav Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simentav Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simentav Yahai Luni, L'chol Yisrael Umein, Askinis to the saw, the Mamani saw, Shlaim was a head, was a de Malkah Kadish, Askinis to the saw, the Malkah, the Isudos a Rivio, the David Malkah Mashiach, Avram Yitzchak v'Yankov, Avram Yitzchak v'Yankov, Avram Yitzchak v'Yankov, Asin Usadei Badei, David Melech Yisrael, David Melech Yisrael, David Melech Yisrael, Chai v'Kayim. Ahoy! Simentav Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simentav, Simentav Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simentav. Yahai Loni, Yahai Loni, Yahai Loni, L'chol Yisrael Umein. Hay Mismar David Adonai Roi Lo Yechzar. Be nice as she habits, I know, Mimni Christianalini. Nafshi is Shoy Vive Yahan Chaini, Vimaglit to the Kwan Shemai. Gaham Yailach, Begait Salmo, Vesla Yurakiato Rimodi. Shiftacho Mishantecha, Haima Yenachmini, Tarch Fonai Shulchan Neged Soroin. Shanto Vashem and Roshi Koisri Yuravoy, Achte Vachesed Yurafini, called Yumahai. Vehishavti b'vayis Adonai Loi rech yomim. Das ist der V'nokum Shicham. Ay. Schlachti spiele nechnocha, v'nos yogoin v'anochom, raslecho tziri, v'kabetz ame fizuri, miad goyach zuhuri asher kurali shichom, Eis doidim ta'oira ha'elim malaitam, Asher shoyel, Reis tivcha bevoy goyel, L'sepsiron edochom, Kroy yeshalam nedovoil, Dugel mirvovo, Yeshvia bolon l'chol Yisrael, L'shiol revovocha, Bas tzion hashchila, Asher hi hayom geilo, Mayat yavila vayma punim smaicha, Bom, Mayunoi sazayes even. If the Adonai oid yeshiven, meyasha yeshaben vatsura nishkocham. Nechei amecha kavrachman, yitzavtzi aham loy almon. Dvar Adonai asher emon bakim chavto. V'yedidim pleitai cheretz. V'ginusam yiptzchi v'meiretz. Blitzvucha v'lifeiretz ein yoitzais v'einzvucha. Ya chodesh hazeh knevias ovicha b'voizeh. V'yishom v'vayeseh v'ateikol Yisruel. Koil Susain v'koil Simecho. Koil Chusan v'koil Kahala. Chuzak Yimalei mish aloi sahayni. Amitz Yaseh bakushu sahayni. Vehi yesh lach b'masa yadayni. Brucha v'atzlocha v'arucha. V'moitzvay yom gila. Shimcha naira ali lo shlach tishbil amsgila. Revach susain v'anucham. Koil Zehula Verina Sfusaini Astirana Hina Uno Adonai Haishiana Uno Adonai Hatzlichana Ader Oyim Benaira Batzar li lecho rekro, Adonai li lo ira v'lo ira. Gidor pirtzas haichuli, Dogel mahar chachli, Adonai ay ay ay. Hey, hey, oh, zerli. Hai nato sikfusiv l'shi oscho kivisi Adonai ois yeshi osi. Zachniki chapayim chen porsei chen afayim Adonai erech apayim Tivcha tuchish lamecha Yolaini kinumecha Adonai yosei lam'an shemecha Kinim vayis mechoinecha Labeitz boitzoinecha Adonai v'yoy ponecha Nipachat latzili na'aleinu l'tzin kodesh koidrli Adonai shema v'koidli Zoides and Meichlenim harim azones hanisharim Adonai yoitzer harim Ptei am chamiazim son chamiad goizazim Adonai oisei chazizim Karev kates necham harachem aim leiracham Adonai yishmel chama Shchon kamiaz bolaini tamidel mechel Adonai malkaini hi yoishiaini Chof Aleph Udar Yartzeit in Heilige Elimelech Lejensk Chissig Aleinu Kol Yisrael Amen. We learned today in the Parshas Porah in Tzadikim, Biala, other Tzadikim, is the Indian that you learn the Rambam at Shabbos. The Rambam brings in Hilchas Paradema. It's in the Gemara, the Mishnah actually. There's a very nice Tosfos that talks about this whole Indian. That by the Paradema, there will be Metame, the Kohen, a serve as a Parah. that they would defile the priest who was burning the red heifer, the ashes, because the sages and teach like this. That when it says "Osaf ish tohar," that a pure man should gather the ashes, that that it doesn't have to be fully pure, only what we call tvul yom. What does it mean, tvul yom? So, in Jewish law, if a man goes to mikveh during the day, he's in kind of a limbo state until nightfall. Meaning, if he's impure, he goes to mikveh, he doesn't reach the full level of purity till night. That limbo state is called tvul yom, one who immersed during the day. And the sages teach that when it says ish tohar by the paradima, when it says a pure man in concerning the red heifer, tvul yom is sufficient. Don't have to wait till nightfall. Now the Tzedukim, the Sadducees, it's sad, you see. The Sadducees taught no, that it had to have Harav Shemesh. They had to wait till nightfall. What did they base it on? They just said so. They didn't have any tradition. So the Rambam says that the reason why in Bayesheni, the time of the Second Temple, they would defile the priest who was burning the red heifer was Lahoitzim Elimelech Tzdukim, Chazal say, to remove from the heart of the Sadducees this false idea. And the way the Rambam expresses Elo Hazedim Amarim Me'aloyla Al-Rucham V'loymin HaKabbalah. It is to remove the ideology of those wanton people who made up something from their own mind without any tradition. It's somewhat the Indian of an entire Tameimet Matami Taharim B'Omer Kudosh. The Heilige Elimelech explains that when it says concerning the red heifer, actually we learned it, Parshas Tzav, in this week's recording, can go back and listen, that this great mystery of the red heifer, that those who are impure become pure, and those who are pure become impure. How does that? It seems to be an oxymoron. Seems to be a contradiction. And the Rebbe Melech explains very strongly. If someone is humble because he realizes he did something wrong, then he could be purified. If someone is arrogant, and he thinks B'Omer Kodesh, he thinks he says he's holy, he's defiled by that ideology. But I want to say something deeper, because we said from Rambam, that the Indian is the Hoitzim Elimelech Tzdukim, to get rid of false ideologies. So remember hearing Rabbi Weinberger, he said that there were Hasidim in Babov in the old days sitting, and it was like this. Motzei Shabbos was Chof Aleph Adar. Here's Adar Shady. So in Babov, Melaveh Malkah is a big Indian, and they were waiting for the Rebbe to come in the Hasidim. And one said to the other, I hope that the Rebbe, of course, why would they think it wouldn't be? They said, well, I hope that the Rebbe will tell us a Maisa from the Rebbe Melech. He'll tell us a story from the Heilige Rebbe Elimelech from Lushansk. And the Baba Rav, I guess it was maybe the Kedushas Tzion at that time. He walked in and he said, Hashem Yim Kam Damai. May the Lord avenge his blood, the holy martyr, the Kedushas Tzion. He said like this, Jeder Yid mit der Borden pious is a mice on Rebbe Melech. Every Jew with a beard and side locks is a story, is the deeds, is the accomplishment of the Rebbe Melech. What does it mean? So they say everyone knows the Rebbe Melech had an older brother, the Rebbe Zisha. Was a very colorful character. They had very different personalities. Both big tzaddikim, both great saints, both great scholars. Although the Rebbe Zisha, he played himself like he wasn't such a big scholar. But we know he really was. And the two of them, they did what they called Pravin Golis. What does it mean, Pravin Golis? A lot of tzaddikim, even outside the Chassidish world, they would go travel incognito to atone. They travel around. They'd go to different places. And many, many stories. Right? Famous story, Melech, Rebbe Zisha, they would be guests in different people's houses. They think they're vagabonds, but they knew they're Yidden. They would give them make achnos orchim. So many times they would hear the Rebbe Melech. He would be praving Tikkun Chatzos, middle of the night, and he would start saying a vidoy, making confession. He said, Melech is a Zaygatin, and he would mention the sins of the host. Remember, hearing from different people, this Nishkaven can spiel. It wasn't just, all right, he is Ruach HaKodesh, and he knows this person's sins, and instead of embarrassing him and saying, you did these sins, he confessed it himself as if he did the sins. But this is actually, if a tzaddik is toifus, the virus of another Yid, that's a pagam in himself. And so the tzaddik, the saint, has a certain aspect, archetypically, that he bears some responsibility, Hercules, Neptune, that he bears some responsibility and he bears some guilt, not vicariously, in a guiltless sense, but actually that he has a certain responsibility that this person did the Avera, and God wouldn't let him see it if there wasn't a Begam in himself, if there wasn't some blemish within himself. And so when the Rebbe Melech would clap al Chet and said Melech is a Zaygatin, obviously physically didn't do it, but on a spiritual level, archetypical level, he bears some guilt, and that was how he'd make tikkunim in different people. He would travel all around, but even just his presence would make a tikkun on the Golos, which is part of the plan. So everywhere the two brothers would go, we see any town where they passed through, it was Erlich and Hasidish until maybe just before the war. So they say that the Rebbe Melech and Rebbe Zisha, there's a famous story, that they came to one town on the border of Poland and Germany. There's a river between the two sides of the town with a bridge. So Rebbe Melech and Rebbe Zisha were on the Polish side. They wanted to cross the bridge into the German side. And the Baldover, the devil, stopped them. He saw them. And he had his sword out, and he said, "You can't cross this bridge." They said, "We're going to do it." So then the devil, the Baldover, told Rebbe Melech and Rebbe Zisha, "I've seen what you've been doing. You're making the whole Eastern Europe Hasidim. If you cross over into Germany, you'll make Germany Hasidim. But the devil said, the Satan, the Yetzer Hara said, they'll be my Hasidim." So then they said, yeah, they can't go. The Rebbe Zisha said this place particularly is such a power of evil over it. I can't even sleep here for the night anyway. And the name of the town is Ashpetzin, which we know in German, Rahman Litzlan, is Auschwitz. This is printed in books long before the Holocaust. That the Rebbe Zisha recognized the evil in the town of Auschwitz was a nice Jewish town historically.
Which is why it's so.
And so everyone knows, of course, Auschwitz was where the death camp was. Among many. Rahman Litzlan Hashem Yikum Damim. Oy. Ay, 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 da da da, ya da 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 da, ay da da da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 ya da da da, ay ay da 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 da. Can I find something on the phone? Because I thought I knew the niggun. You have here, how do you get it to YouTube? I have there's a niggun from the Elimelech. So Hercules Nepson, whenever I think of the Rebbe Melech, I have a healthy awareness of the evil that exists in the world. He was a very special tzaddik, and I feel was a very brave man to have lived during his time. Yeah, that's a strong. So how do I make this louder?
You push the button, but it's broken.
Where?
Like on the phone case, it's broken.
I lost the. What's the pin? Yep. Can you make it louder? Can you do it? You put the sound up? There you go. Ay 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 ya da 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 ay 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 ya da 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 ay 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 ya da 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 ay 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 ya da 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 ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 da-da-da-dum. Ay, 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 da-da-da-dum. Ay, 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 da-da-da-dum. Ay, 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 ay. So Hercules Neptune, he says here, it's a nice book here. So I have some connections to this book, Tal Zwecker. I don't know if I ever met him, but I had some kesher to him, connections to him. He was a Clevelander chassid. I went once to Clevelander Rebbe for Shabbos, Schussi Galeno. But also there's a Haskami here from the Biala Rebbe. I helped the Biala Rebbe from America to put this Haskama in here. And I believe I translated the Haskama. And then also one of the dedications was by Eli Glazer for his son Avigdor, Zechitzak Levrocha. And Eli Glazer was a good friend when I was there in Queens. He made a dedication for his son who passed away. And the dedication there. So I remember I was at Victor Glazer's Levaya. I wanted to share his story since I'm looking at this. Was that Bial Rebbe from Americas in Los Angeles? Or his brother from Bnei Brak? Anyway, by Victor's Levaya, I remember it was a big Levaya. I remember Pesach Kron was there. I remember the Kruller Rebbe was there. Well, you're in Los Angeles? Send if you see the Rebbe, send him a grease from Yitzchak, from the Catskills. So remember, at the end of the Levaya, there was another Levaya was supposed to start, and it was an older. But are you in LA? He's in LA, but are you in LA? How do you know he's in LA? You just heard he's in LA, or you're there. That's how you know. It doesn't matter, I guess. But if you are there, you can. Or you're in Borough Park, and that's how you know. I don't know. So anyway, sorry if I'm a little rough around the edges. So by the Levaya, another Levaya was starting, and then so you're in North Carolina. Oh wow, you by my cousin, by Yerachmiel, by Rabbi Altman in North Carolina. It's my cousin, the Rabbi Altman. His previous wife was my mother's first cousin. His wife passed away. Oh, you're North California. Oh, okay. So NorCal, I thought North Carolina. Yeah, I guess it would be Car, not Cal. Okay. I have friends from there. I have one friend from Paradise, but he lives in Muncie. Unless that's you. I don't know if you're back there. Sheila. But anyway, by Victor's Levaya, someone said this was a big rabbi funeral, and they were annoyed that their funeral couldn't start on time. And then so one of the people was a little nicer and said, "Who's the big rabbi who passed away?" He said, "No, it wasn't a rabbi. It was a lawyer in the community." That shows what the community is. That everyone can come out for a levaya like that for a funeral. Rabbi Zwacker brings here from Tefillah Moshe from the Samba Rebbe. If you wish to read my father's last will and testament, then you should study the Sefer Noam. For 22 years before his passing, he taught and said the things found in the Sefer. You know that each day he was testifying before the day of his death. So anyway, story is brought down Parshas Chukas, which is where Parshas Parah comes from. Case to remember. This is what Rabbi Zwecker brings. It happened once at the time of the Rebbe of Elimelech that the government had a case against a certain Jew. The courts ruled and found him guilty and was sentenced to death by hanging. As was the custom, the court granted him one request. He asked that they notify his sons of the verdict. The sons were notified, and they immediately set out to see their father. On the way, they stopped in Lezhensk to see the Rebbe of Melech. Hi, Eliyav. Thank you. Appreciate that. To see the Rebbe of Elimelech and to ask his advice and guidance. When they related the whole story to the Rebbe, he answered in his holy manner that they had nothing to fear. Their father would not be hanged. They left Lezhensk comforted, reassured by the words of the Holy Tzaddik, believing that his promise would come true. However, when they arrived, they saw that nothing had changed. On the designated day, their father was brought forth to be hanged, and no one said a word to save him. According to the law, before a sentence is carried out, they would read the charges and the verdict that had been pronounced. When the officials must retrieve the necessary documents, they could not find any of the papers relating to the judgment and could not proceed with execution. They hastened back to the courthouse, but they found not a trace of the ruling or even a memory of the case. The judges themselves were no longer able to recall the case, nor were they able to remember who the witnesses were or what testimony had been given. Everything was totally forgotten. After a lengthy delay and numerous searches, they reluctantly released the prisoner, since they could bring no charge against him. On the trip back home, the sons, this time with their father, stopped once more in Lezhensk to see the Rebbe of Elimelech. The Rebbe told them I had no other alternative except to make use of the angel of forgetfulness to cause them forget the whole matter completely. That's from the Sefer Elimelech Reish Pei Gimel. It's interesting because when Mitzvah Shabbos, there's an Indian to remove Sarshal Shikha, to remove the angel of forgetfulness. But sometimes we need that angel. And it says in the Zmiris, it mentions that the angel's name is Duma, which is also mentioned for other things, sleeping, other things, a lot of different things. And there's a Segula you have in the by the Melaveh Malkah's mirrors to remove Duma Sarshal Shikha, to say Ana Mashbana, right? It's in here. I wonder if it's in this one. If not, I have it in another siddur. Let's see if we can find it. If not, it says. No, that's not it. Mashbia. Oh no, Pura. I'm sorry. Duma is a different angel. Angel. Duma is the angel of. I think angel one. Related to Pura is the name of the angel of forgetfulness. It says you have a kavana of the Shem Elokim. First think of Aleph, then Aleph Lamed, then Aleph Lamed Hey, then Aleph Lamed Hey Yud, then Aleph Lamed Hey Yud Mem, spelling out the name. And it says Mashbia Ani Alecha Pura Sar Shal Shikcha Shetaser leiv tipish mimeni v'sapol yisrael Torah masa. Oh, so it says I'm placing an oath upon you, Pura, the angelic prince of forgetfulness, that you should remove the heart of foolishness from me, and it should fall upon a very high mountain. And then there's another kavana, Aleph, and then Reish Mem Yud Mem Samech, and then you take off the Aleph, then it's Reish Mem Yud Mem Samech, then you take off the Reish Mem Yud Mem Samech, then you take off the Mem Yud Mem Samech, you take off the Yud Mem Samech, and then there's Psukim. So you should have in mind that the name of an evil person gets smaller and smaller, and that removes from us the power of forgetfulness, because forgetfulness is an actual power. It's not just lacking of something. And there's 3 psukim. One from Yeshayahu, Pur derachti lavadi mi'amim en ish iti v'derchim ba'pi v'armasim b'chamasi. It's actually more to the pasuk v'ez nitzchum. I'm going, Pur guided me alone, and among the people there's no man with me, and I will trample them in my anger, and I will pounce on them and also trample them in another form of anger. Then v'noach matzachim b'einei Adonai, and Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. I remember the Melaveh Rebbe would always say that that's a big skula, that people should find charm. And then from the book of Samuel, and David in all his ways was successful, and the Lord was with him. And those 3 psukim are big skula on Matzei Shabbos. So again, you see, the forgetfulness, I was saying the wrong name of the Malach. It's actually Pura, is the Sarshal Shikha. So the Rebbe Melech had a koyach that he was able to send. I just said over the skula. I said it over. You can find it in this forum. So it's to remove poor Sarshal Shikha. You can rewind and listen to it again. You don't have to apologize, but I have also what I learned from the Melaveh Rebbe is if something wasn't heard the first time, you don't need to apologize. You don't necessarily need to repeat it. But Baruch Hashem, this is recorded, and hopefully we'll be able. Hopefully it's recorded. I mean, saying there's a live stream, we should be able to listen to it later. So once we're here, we have the Rebbe Melech, and we can learn a little bit. I know we learned over Shabbos from Parshas Parah. Actually, during the week, on Wednesday, it was something from a week when, like this year, Tzav was Parah, because it had both inyanim of Tzav and Parah. But let's just learn a Torah from Parshas Tzav, from Rebbe Melech. And one thing I would encourage tomorrow is there's the Tefillah Kodim Tefillah and the Tzetel Katan that both should learn and say tomorrow. And I'll try to do it too. I hope I will have the koyach to do it. But let's first learn Vaydaber, Tzavis B'nai Israel. The Lord spoke to Moses, and commanded the children of Israel, Rashi, Ein Tzavela Zerus. When it says command, Tzav, it means Zerus, it means to encourage some diligence. Because you have to be more diligent in a place where there could be losing from the pocket, which we understand colloquially means monetary loss. But the Rebbe Melech is going to explain why this term chesron kis, losing the pocket. Yeah, Tzetel Katan is in here. Yep. And there's a video once where I learned the whole Tzetel Katan on the channel. So Venirali, so Heilige Rebbe Melech Schusse ben Elazar ben Lejen Schusse Golim Cheslemein says like this: seems to me al pia remes, according to the way that it can be hinted to, and also the Tefillah Kodim Tefillah is also in here. The person who worships the blessed Lord may be blessed. Tzorach Avid B'Zrizis. A person you have to worship in a matter of diligence. Midas Tovus, and with good character attributes. But if a person worships the Lord, blessed Lord, with laziness and like he's forced and he's not willing, so his soul is in it, but his body is missing. It's like he has no body. Kiss, and the body is like a pocket. It's like a container for the soul. It's like a sheath for the soul. V'zeshram is Rashi. This is what Rashi is hinting to here. That you have to be more diligent in the place where the pocket is missing, meaning where the body is missing. You have to get the body involved in the worship. Meaning if someone is worshiping in a lazy way, you should have more diligence to get the body and soul united in worship canal, as we said above. All right, we'll get yours. Ish chosed haya bli mazon michya. Veisay Isaac Melaveh shviya hein baged leil boish goinem shivisha. Gam bevonim chamisha dever lo yoisha yoisein lekasha. Hamibli lechem lechol veir mechois akol v'ser matzosakia gata manich meata. Sehirna kvarlina shuk. Haloi sehirna shuk. Chanam rachem bereimov layig men berachmav krachmav tevel kevim machzer it's on your aviasa. Asbedas b'chochma tzeisich lilas kima. Tzeisich loishas luchlima. Mi belich sis v'salma v'lein v'liad of the forta. I've finished of a prita. Hi, Mahar Shalish Mishkanim Albisham Noam Sikonim Nilmish from the Hishlach Havalad and Yoshi Heavy Sakilod of Flila Malkah Yoshev Dach Nichlam of Arbashikvis Siver Savihini Eliulia Novi Lekrosai Patslay Hamavasib Emisayim Tis Asher Svein Bechol Quaidacha Kihini Avdacha Kurlami Vadata Kanais Evan Avaden Kamoisai, Kasha Hishana Dinui, I have it lim curse at Dino Shaslai, Chochma Saiba, Kirway Vexik, Moy Kamoy Rabbi, Kagri Kunai Bahovim, Rina Masalim, the Haven Melopsivim, Foy Mablach and Mavinian Chochma Sechatachel, Strackle and Faltuna, Rayet of Enchern, Yom Rishon Bimefalim, Poyalim, Shiva Hatzilaila, Nania, Naira Lila. Zamtim Nukmari Lavidi, Lechvaidcha. Taloylech Vaidi, Bare Island Bekinyan, Hashlim Zeha Binyan, Rachmechbech, Ich Mibchaninosi, Kilo Taiva Kavanosi, Ram Alachim Rachmanoy, Noiso, Seichel, Luliv Noiso, Rabu Benay Boynim, Licha, Vatishlam Kolam Lacha, Dasu Seichel Beroisa Kinigman Malachtai. Close Migdol and Noam, Lufian, you never know him, Zuchalaka, Atas, Melasha, the Bartek of Shanivar, the Kidampi Lunch, Kara, Zekimai, MS, Ifrach, Laisho, MS, Sombarada, Noile, Yahakoiv, Altiro, Avdi, Yakoiv, Bukharada, Noibe, Yahakoiv, Altiro, Avdi, Yakoiv. Go Aladino, yes, Yaakov, Altiro Avdi Yaakov, Durach Koichov, Yaakov, Altiro Avdi Yaakov, Ha Boem Yashresh Yaakov, Altiro Avdi Yaakov, Beard me Yaakov, Altiro Avdi Yaakov, Schosli Yaakov, Altiro Avdi Yaakov, Chedvus Ishus Yaakov, Altiro Avdi Yaakov, Tevolach Yaakov, Altiro Avdi Yaakov. Yarmish Betechel Yaakov al Tirav the Yaakov, Kiloina Cheshmi Yaakov al Tirav the Yaakov, Lebedovin be Yaakov al Tirav the Yaakov, Bimon Afa Yaakov al Tirav the Yaakov, Nishbada Noile Yaakov al Tirav the Yaakov, Slach no Lavin Yaakov al Tirav the Yaakov, Ata Hushav Shvis Yaakov al Tirav the Yaakov, Pudu Adonai es Yaakov, al tiro avdi Yaakov. Tzavai, 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 Yeshia is Yaakov. Tzavai, Yeshia is Yaakov, al tiro avdi Yaakov. Koko Yaakov, al tiro avdi Yaakov. Roni v'simchli Yaakov, al tiro avdi Yaakov. Shavadi noish v's Yaakov, al tiro avdi Yaakov. Titem is Yaakov, al tiro avdi Yaakov. Omar Dahinoi le Yaakov, al tiro avdi Yaakov. Mi Yaakov, al tiro avdi Yaakov. Titem is le Yaakov, al tiro avdi Yaakov. Atohi Malki Elohim, Tzaveh Yeshiyos Yaakov. One thing I heard from the tzaddikim from Biala was the Indian not to be even in a house that doesn't have the name Elimelech. So I remember one of the rabbis from that chotzer, they asked him, so you marked one that's the Medafnishlein Shrimmer with the pipes. But anyway, I'll tell you the truth, I carry with me the little Elimelech, and I used to give them out sometimes, and it's a big Indian. So we've seen big things from that, but I don't want to get into that. But the Eibush does all health and everything we need, food and yeshus and parnasa and gesund. The schusa the Melech from Lejen schusgel. You know, I've often said it over. I heard, how did I get so involved with Biala? I don't know. And now I'm not as involved as I used to be. You know, I'm part Polish and part Hungarian, but I'm more personally gravitate to the Hungarian side of my family. I'm saying also on my Jewish side, you know, my father wasn't Jewish; he was Polish. He was American. All my family, all my grandparents were born here. But on my mother's side, also came. Her father's side came from Hungary, and mother's side came from Poland and from Germany. I don't know. I used to say, because there were three Biala Rebbes I had shaykhs with. I still here and there, but they're very approachable, you know. So it's not that difficult. They're very nice people. I used to say that Rav Nosson David should love to. He would give advice to the goyim there in Shidlovtza. You know, there's a follower of the first Biala Rebbe, and even he would give them advice, shidduchim and things. So I said, maybe, you know, one of the shidduchim that Reb Nosson David, once I went with the Biala Rebbe from America to Poland, and we went to Shidlovtza, we went to the oil that the Shidlovtza Rebbe built. Amazing story. I said, maybe one of those shidduchim from the Goyim in Shidlovtza was maybe one of my Zaydas on my father's side. I don't know. It's a chulam. I said that over to a few of the Biala Rebbe's taka. Could be. So anyway, they say the one sefer that the Satmarav Chusi Galeno Malkah Solomon would learn every week in its entirety was the Noam Elimelech. So by all the tzaddikim, it was a very big Indian Noam Elimelech, and one also by Biala they'd like to say over in Parshas Vayeshev. I could say it over too. This the Torah from Parshas Vayeshev in the Noam Elimelech. That it says a Yomer. This is this beginning of. But I remember I the first Biala Rebbe I had the shaykhs was the Shidlovtzer Rebbe, because one of my friends in Eretz Yisrael was learning in the Belzer Baal Shuvi Yeshiva Torah V'Mina, which at the time was in the upstairs, the Vibashil of Shidlovtzer. It became a Shidlovtzer Chassid. he's the one from Northern California, from Paradise. And then, so it's not the same person, because you would know that already if it was the same person. So then, I've never been to California. But anyway, so then the next, and then the Bial Rebbe from Bnei Brak, he would come a lot to Queens. And Bial Rebbe from Borough Park, I found him by a chasna, and he was makar me very much. So all three were makar very much. So this is a Torah Bial Rebbe's voice. Like I made a video about this. It's also on the channel. Yom V'Yeshav, maybe I'll make a new one now. There's AI, I can make a better video. Yom V'Yeshav Yaakov, it says, in Jacob dwelled. V'Haktim L'Farish Pasuk Shomer David HaMelech L'Shalom. Very famous verse, of course, that David, peace be upon him, said in Psalm 23. Ach Tov V'Chesed Yirfuni Kol Yemei Chayei. Only goodness and mercy, really goodness and kindness, should pursue me all the days of my life. And I'll dwell in the house of the Lord for long days, which usually translate forever, could seem like forever. L'chor, ein amuven, mils yirafuni shaloshan radifa shaykh visha baruch v'roit v'maisai. It seems like it's not easy to understand. Why does it say that goodness and kindness should pursue me all the days of my life? If something's pursuing you, it means something you're running away from. So this is the concept. Certain people like me, I guess, that their deeds are very damaged and improper. They do bad stuff. They're not so religious, right? But they you see a lot of Jews. They might not be religious, but they're nice, good people. They're charitable. They're kind, which I'm also not. So I have to work on that also. But was it mitzad teva? This comes from their nature. He has a good heart. He does kind deeds and does favors for people. Oh, I remember in one neighbor here, Shelley, he would do anything in the world for you. And by his levaya, I propped the levaya for Shelley, for Shmuel. His brother said, Shelley, what are you doing? You're giving away everything. Maybe people taking advantage of you. He says, what difference does it make? I'm a better person for it, and I'm making the world a better place. And you know, he didn't have any children. I got his tefillin, and if someone in the hospital needs tefillin, recently it was a whole thing. We're not supposed to talk about these things, but he couldn't have his own. I could put on Shelley's tefillin, so he has a schus. Maybe there's a whole thing. So the fact that they have a good heart helps them to return and be better. I remember my Zeta became a big oivid, and he said that the whole Indian by my Zeta was like this. He went to go say Kaddish for his father when his father was nifter. I'm named Yitzchak after my Zeta's father. His Hungarian name was Ignatz. And then so the Zeta, he started saying Kaddish for his father for the year. So you think for the 11 months, and then that's it. And he said, if those people were there for me when I needed it, I have to be there when they need it. Because it's such a Bal Chesed, my Zeta, such a Bal Tzedakah. He wasn't a rich person, but he wasn't poor. He was upper middle class maybe, but he did a lot of Chesed. They said, on his deathbed, all he could think about was, he promised he'd drive his neighbor to the airport. He said, who's going to drive Morris to the airport now? So Shomer David, Achu Lashon Miyut. So David, in the Psalm, said, Ach, only, is a term of limiting. So Lemer Hama'ada Tova Chesed should be, even David HaMelech said about himself, that little bit of goodness and kindness that's in me, Yudafuni Kol Mechayai. It should pursue me all the days of my life. For Shavti, and I'll sit in the house of the Lord for long days, forever. And then eventually I'll be religious too. I'll sit in the house of the Lord for long days. and he became regular Viba Merkavos of the Melech. So something interesting. There's a Sefer Teferis Yoel. There's a story. There was a certain Yid. He went to a coma or something, and he went. He was a big chassid of Satmarov's chassid, and he went to while he was in the coma, in the vision, he went to heaven, and he went and visited the Rebbe, visited Satmarov. He said, "Could you help me? It's not my time. I don't think it's my time to go yet." And he said, "I can't help you. I want you to go next door. I have a neighbor here, is the Rebbe Melech. You can imagine Satmarov in heaven, his neighbors with the Rebbe Melech. So maybe tomorrow, in passing when I'm on the way home, I should maybe stop in Kirsio. If I can't make it to Lezhensk, I could at least." They say if you can't be by one tzaddik, be by the other, because they bring a Kittel Satmarov to the kever in Kirsio that he'll bring to the Rebbe Melech on the Yartzeit. So in California, there's also tzaddikim buried. There's a Nedverner Rebbe in California, but I think more in LA. I don't know how far California is very big, I know. So to go from Northern California to LA, that's like for us going to Chvez to North Carolina. So, all right. So there's a safer. There's a website, kvarim.com, which a friend of mine, Baruch Amzel, he made this website, kvarim.com. You can see there all the Kivrei Tzadikim in America, KEVARIM.com, kvarim.com. And actually, his email was something Lezhensk, whatever number, at Yahoo or AOL or whatever it was. So Baruch, he should be well. So yeah, that's the Indian of the Malkah. It's all about the tzaddik. This is the Sifrin Shel Tzadikim. And yeah, the Koblentzer Rebbe is my Rebbe. I'm probably closer with the Biala Rebbes. I'm not really close with any. When Fanim, and I'm so busy working and everything, Baruch Hashem, Purim, I got to go to Satmar Rebbe, get a bracha quickly. But I think tomorrow on the way back from work, I'm gonna have to Mirz Hashem stop in Kirsio and go daven by the Tzion. So I'm not promising, but I'm hoping they'll be able to make it. So there's a lot going on. So it is what it is. But I remember I saw when Pittsburgh Rebbe Sechet Sagavracha used to go to California a lot, and he would go. The Rebbe Lugana Betzalel Simcha Menachem Ben Tzion. Oh, Betzalel Simcha Menachem Ben Tzion Ben Chana Pesha. Shafu Shleim Bial Rebbe Lugano Shlita. He's the last of the four brothers. He's the youngest, last of the children of the. I never met him. He's the last of the sons of the Kedushas Chalkas Yeshia. I did translate that Sefer into English, the Seder Hayom, which Bial Rebbe published. I also have it on Amazon, only in English, but he's in a lot of pain. He's a big tzaddik, a big Talmid Chacham also. I remember when I was Rav in Richmond, there was the Ingerman. I think he was either a Bach or a Chosin at the time, was passing through Oh, you have my serum. Very nice. Wow. Thank you. Um, so Bacher, or I think he was a chos at the time. He was a younger man, and he said he was very makusher to the Lugano Rav, to the Biala Rebbe from Lugano. He spent time in Lugano, and he said he was learning in the Mir, and the Lugano Rav, the Biala Rebbe from Lugano, he said to this Bacher, I need you to come to Lugano, be by me, because he said you're going to be in the Mir, you're going to get lost. You be by me, you'll. I don't remember this guy's name. Big tzaddik, this Bacher, big Ovid, and told me all kinds of interesting stories. But the one point that was bring out, there should be a schus for Fuhr Shlema, for the Rebbe, was that so this Bacher at the time he asked Nasan Tzvi schus Galeno, who I was zeicha to see a few times, and he said, I have this offer that I should leave the Mir and go to Lugano and learn Chavrusa with Biala Rebbe Bacher. So then the Nasan Tzvi, Schusi Galeno, he said, if there's any other Hasidic Rebbe, I'd say no. But the Biala Rebbe from Lugano is a big Talmud Chacham. So it's Kedai. So it's not really true. The other, I mean, not that the positive is true, but the negative is not true. The other Rebbe is also big Talmud Chacham. So maybe it doesn't mean any Rebbe, but not every Rebbe. I would say yes, but that's what Reb Nosson Tzvi said. So it should be a schus for Shleim B'Tzal Simcha Menachem Ben Tzion Ben Chana Pesha for Shleim. What a different world we're in. So I appreciate that you have my sefer. That's very heartwarming. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Tishbi, Eliyahu Galadio, Galadio, Eliyahu Hanavi, Ben Meheder Yavoy Aleini, Mashiach Ben David, Ish Sheknei L'Shem Ish B'Sar Shloim Al Yad Kusiel. I don't have copies of most of my books. The only one I have is the Seder. I don't have any of the Amazon books. I have the hardcover Noam Malkah the hardcover Seder Hayom, and although it's my wife's office, I have the only with Emunah from the Calvary Rebbe. I don't know if you have that, and then the other books I have also that I translate the Suda Secrets, which my name is not in. Some of them I translated, the Suda Secrets from Rabbi Meislish. But I was very excited to see the Brezhana Rav had a lot of Sfarim, and a long time ago I had a sefer on Malkah, and for a long time I was thinking I should talk to him, maybe we should translate it into English, and I didn't translate that, but I see now somebody translated it. Art School put it out from Brezhana Rav. So I haven't seen it in English, but I know from Lashon HaKodesh it's a very important sefer. But I appreciate everything. So the schus of the Heilige Rebbe Melech from Lishansk, we should. The Rebbe Melech, it says he fasted 7 years to fix himself, fasted 7 years to fix his whole dar, and then 7 years to fix all the dars till Mashiach comes. So we're benefiting from that, and we need it because we're such a phenomenal door. I appreciate that offer. I'm Baruch Hashem too busy. I don't have time to get into translating anymore. Even the Calvary Rebbe I don't translate for because someone else wanted to do it, and as a schus, so But although I miss doing that, But more than that, I know the Al Rebbe from America asked me to translate things. I didn't have koiches for it, so it's not. There's certain siyata d'shmaya need for these things, and it's very difficult, But Baruch Hashem, it used to be sometimes it come very easy to me, and right now, when it's like for Niman, the side of the Chavas Yoris, Chosigolani would sign his name Hatorah. He was the busy one. Chassan Denan, Shalom Dov Ber, Shavua Tov, Good Tovach, how are you? What other less known tzaddikim can you tell us on this Yartzeit? Who? Are there any other Yartzeits today? I don't know. If I can find the sefer from Berjan Arov, he has there all the Yartzeits listed. But Baruch Hashem, good to see you. Shalom Dov there. So it's good. We miss you. I like you said, you want to come visit us. Hopefully, Mitzvah Hashem soon. I would say wait till the summer, though. Some tzaddikim, that was the subject of Elimelech Sefer of the other tzaddikim. Yeah, that's a good point. The lesser known tzaddikim, though. I'll tell you one story. So, I know you're planning. I'm not pushing that you should come here, but I'm saying if you make it, the summer is when something will be going on, or maybe just before the summer, just after the summer, whatever it is. But I just hope you're here when there's a minion, because things are a little difficult right now, but hopefully soon. So, if you're able to make it, if you're not able to, I'm not saying. I wish I could come out there again. Really enjoyed the visit. So Tasha Rebbe Zatzal, that's not a little known tzaddik, it's a big known tzaddik. I'll tell you, I have a very dear friend in Nadvorna Rebbe here in Bloomingburg. In Nadvorna, you could be a Rebbe even when your father's alive. Baruch Hashem. So the Amen, bring them home, right? In the schus of the Rebbe Melech. All the captives should be set free and come home. So, thank you, MJ. So my dear friend, Nadvorna Rebbe here in Bloomingburg, he told us a story. He grew up in Tosh. His father's a sheikhet in Tosh. He should be well. So, Reb Zeidel, Nadvorna Rebbe in Bloomingburg, he said, who's related to the Clevelander, Rosenbaum. So he said, he's a big Tosher Chassid. He told the story, Rabbi Fishbein loves this story. He said there was a Yid who came to the Tosher Rebbe's Chusig. I was once by the Tosher Rebbe. He went to Tosher Rebbe. He said, Rebbe, ich darf arbeit. I need a job. The Rebbe said, du darfst nicht arbeit, du darfst Geld. He said, you don't need a job, you need money. So the Yid, he went, bought a lotto ticket. He won $500,000, whatever it was in the 1960s. And he made investments, whatever it was, he was able to live off that the rest of his life. So, we should all be zeichet to Hashbois Toivus. But the reason Rabbi Fishbein is so impressed by this story, he said, what's the difference between different types of rabbis? So he said, Rabbi Fishbein, he said he would get a newsletter, maybe quarterly something, for the trade, for Rabbonim, and there would be like an advice column. This is a story. So he said one Yid, one rabbi, he said so-called rabbi in a shul somewhere in New Jersey or Long Island or wherever, And a bacher came knocking on the door. It was late at night. Rabbi, I need to talk to you. He came on his bicycle. So maybe we could talk. We could wait till tomorrow. He said, no, I need to talk to you right now. So he said, all right, come in, my son. Let's. He said, this bacher, this boy. He said his father was very sick, and he didn't know what to do. He's beside himself. Um, he had a very bad diagnosis from the doctors, and sounded terminal. And this so-called rabbi, he writes to the advice column, asks, what did he want from me? How can someone be a rabbi and not have a sensitivity to say, doctors, they're not God, they're not in control. Let's say Kapitel Tehillim, let's pray together. Don't give up hope, keep the faith. So he said, what did he want from me? Or it could be the other way, the story that Pesach Krohn's goes inside. He said when his father, he lost his father when he was very young, and his father was sick in the hospital, and he was in Manhattan, and he was staying by Rav Schwab, or he had the Suda by Rav Schwab, and Rabbi Krohn, he was there with his brother, and he said to Rav Schwab, he said, I know the prognosis is very bad, but I have betochen that he'll get better. And then Rav Schwab said, betochen doesn't mean necessarily that it'll get better, but betochen means that whatever happens, you trust and believe that that's God's will. It's another level. Which is difficult for us to deal with. We know the Livestream Rebbe said, "Trach's good, v'tzayin good," right? Think good, will be good. Anyway, what's really good? That's the question. Maybe not always the way we want it, but that doesn't mean we give up. I wish it was helping, but how many people are really thinking good, though? In relation to that, how many people are thinking good? Anyway, Rabbi Fishbein would, not the story about Rav Schwab, Rabbi Fishbein's Gesundheit, he likes to compare and contrast the story of the rabbi. He didn't know what to say. This kid, what did he want from me? That was what he asked. And he said, compare that to the Tasha Rebbe, who understood sensitivity for another Yid. Like we said before, from Baba V'Rav, it's a Ma'aseh from Rebbe Melech. It wouldn't be Tasha Rebbe, there wouldn't be Kalav Rebbe, there wouldn't be Bial Rebbe, there wouldn't be any Satmar Rav, there wouldn't be anybody without the Rebbe Melech. Right, Kalav, you could say, wasn't directly from the Rebbe Melech, but still the Rebbe Melech is important. But Biala and Satmar and Babov and all of them, they owe everything in their Hasidic connection to the Baal Shem Tov Kodesh to Rebbe Melech, particularly that he had the Talmud, he had the Choyzer. And who were the Talmud of the Choyzer? The Yismach Moshe was a Talmud of the Choyzer. The Rebbe Binim, the Yeder Kodesh, these were Talmidim of the Choyzer. The Rabshitzer. So all the tzaddikim, they all they all are connected to the Rebbe Melech, whether from Hungary or from Poland or from Galicia. All of those go back to Rebbe Melech. So. Right, you're right. I feel a cherif munach al tzvari. Of course, right. What happened to Moshe Rabbeinu? His neck turned to shayas, right? To marble. He was saved. That's true. It's yayish minarachim. All right, let's finish Smiras. It's very late. It's 12 o'clock already, just about 11:59 here in New York, and I have to get up, go to work tomorrow. I have things to do tomorrow, and then, like we said, on the way home, I'm thinking I'd like to go to Kiryas Yom. But we'll finish the Smiras, and then we'll be on our way. And Mashiach ben David, my Heilige Seide, the Chavas Yor and Makor Chaim says, just mentioning the Eliyahu Navi chases away all the demons. So, L'chaim Tovim L'Shalom, L'chaim L'Bracha, Amen, Amen, Amen. Thank you. We need it. We all need it, and you need it too. Mevarach Misparach. You're blessing me, you're getting a blessing yourself, and we bless each other, and I want to bless you with the same thing. God Almighty should bless you and your whole family, and the whole Klal Yisrael, the whole world. And like one fellow here said, MJ, I think he said all the captives free, they should all come home. Eliyahu Navi, Eliyahu Navi, Eliyahu Navi, Ha Navi, Eliyahu Navi, Eliyahu Navi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu Galadi, Eliyahu Eliyahu Hanavi, B'Mehaira Yuvaya Elainim, Mashiach ben David, Ishtar Shnei Masaroyanov, Ishanikra Balseyah Besimanav, These are ours, I'm most snub. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Tishbi, Eliyahu Galadi, Eliyahu Hanavi, B'Mehaira Yovavaya Elavayni, Mashiach ben David, Ishav al Chayvdei Chamanim, Ishchash V'Nishbam Yeskim Kishmei Moinim, Ishtalam Otar, Otsar Shleishanim, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu Galadi, Eliyahu Galadi, Eliyahu Hanavi, B'Mehaira Yahavaya Elaheinulim, Mashiach ben David, Ish Yatzil Musel Nafshe Nachas, Ish Kil Kloy V'Malay Meisel Shachas, Ish Lamanay Nisbachu, Kad V'Tzapachas, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu Agaladi, Eliyahu Agaladi, Eliyahu Hanavi, B'Mehaira Yahavaya Elaheinuim, Mashiach ben David, Ish Mosar V'Kshivu Kamenim Ish Nano, Ish Mishmei Gvoim Ish Sochu Achrav Adonai Elohim, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu Agiladi, Eliyahu Agiladi, Eliyahu Hanavi, B'Mehaira Yahavaya Elaheinuim, Mashiach ben David, Ish Asid L'Shalech Mishmei Aravois, Ish Poked Al Kol B'Sar Stovish, Ish Tzernemon L'Hoshiv Leiv Bonim Alavais, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu Agaladi, Eliyahu Agaladi, Eliyahu Hanavi, B'Mehaira Yahavaya Elaheinuim, Mashiach ben David, Ish Kor Kanei Kinesi Ladonai B'Sifra, Ish Rochav Al Susi, Ish Mishlavra, Ish Shaloi Tuam Tam, Ish Akvura, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu Galadi, Eliyahu Galadi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Bimheira Yahavaya, Eloheinu Im, Moshiach ben David, Ish Tishbi al Shmini, Kvod, Tatzlichan, Bata Tishbi, Besar, Tovim, Bimheir, Totzian, Mefil, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu Galadi, Eliyahu Galadi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Bimheira Yahavaya Lehenuim Mashiach ben David Ish Tishbi Taslenu Yadami Parasis Someone Lushiv Leave Bottom Oliver Hayes Eliyahu Navi Eliyahu Tishbi Eliyahu Tishbi Eliyahu Eliyahu Navi Eliyahu Galadi Eliyahu Galadi Eliyahu Navi Bimheira Yahavaya Lehenuim Mashiach ben David, Asher Misharaf on a Bachalaim, Asher Mishanos on Lay Shalom, Vexir Lay Shalom, Adonai Yivarech on Lay Fash Shalom, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Bimheira Yahavaya, Lehenuim, Moshiach ben David, Kakasuv, Hine Anochi, Sholeach Lochem, Eliyahu Hanavi, Lifnei Boyahim Adonai, Hagadol v'Hanora, V'Heishiv Lev Avos Albanim, V'Lev Banim Alavoisam. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Bimheira Yahavaya, Lehenuim, Mashiach ben David. And the response al Pur Sashil Shechach Shetasaleif Tipish Many, so Yasil Turamasa. Further active lot in she to the Himapi, Simachim, Adonai, Vehidavad, Lochal, Vascal, Adonai, Imai. Yom Adonai Moshe Kachel Samim not of Shchelis V'Chalvan Samim Vanis Akabad Vaniya. Vasiso Isaktoy Sois Kach Meiser Kach Malach Torah Kodesh Shachaktim in the day when the Satam left my that she avoid Lach Shama Kodesh Kodesh Tilach and Nama Victor Lava Haran Kotoy Sama Baker Baker. First time with Lufnei Adonai Sechem Breishi Yivrach Adonai V'Shmech Adonai Panav Yasem Lach Shalom. Some Shmuel ben Yisrael ben Yechim Shulam Alois. As we always say my words. Al Yitin Lamoit Vaglech Al Yinam Shemecha Hine Lo Yinam Relation Shemir Shulam Shemecha. Adonai Shmotz Yisrael V'Yechem Ya'at V'Dolam. Bereishi Spor Elohim Eisa Shemayim Veisa Ochretz. Adonai Tzvoi Simoni Miskavlon El Hekav Salad Adonai Tzvoi Sasher Zem Teach V'Adonai Hashiach Melchim Ya'aleinu Koinu. Rabbeinu Shalayla Hamadoin Kalayla Mim Rabbeinu Elamim B'Kolamim Avarachim Eslichais B'Simon Toiv Mazel Toiv Achaloleinu Eshesh Simei Amasa B'Am Lekweshleinu Shalom Chasukim Kol Kate V'Fresh Menukim Kol Avan V'Ashma Fresh Menukim Samon Toiv Masam Toiv V'Mchneinu B'Beinu Maskim V'Itcha V'Smereinu V'Hem Sosam Nesimcha Lois Ala Knessin Loiv Adam Oliknes Adam Talabeinu Malkinu Lahinu Avrachaman Simbracha V'Chavat B'Chol Ma'as Yadeinu V'Kol Yitzaleinu V'Kol Amcha Beis Yisrael Aitza Toiv Machshav Toiv Am Sevarach Chai God love Kaimai Kaim Atzas Eikav Shema Yitincha V'Chol Atzas Chaim Alein Shema Yitzayim V'Yakum Lachbal D'Rechacha Naga or Chol Yitzaleinu V'Kol Amcha Beis Yisrael Aitza Sheina Toiv Machshav Sheina Toiv Two fartas like Kadavish and Radin, hey fartas going Hainamach Shwaisam, the Marutsu waits up a Hisufa Dabru Davar Villa Yahakum, ay, da 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 ki Immanuel, psach lanu Adonai Eloheinu avrachamim. Just lichas b'zeh shavuos v'chol shavuos shavua. Sharei oira, sharei ochim hashanim, sharei chesparim, sharei bracha, sharei gavina, sharei gedula, sharei gedula, sharei geula, sharei vur, sharei ditza, sharei deya, sharei hoid, sharei hada, sharei hatzlacha, sharei vacha, sharei va'adhev, sharei zizas, sharei zimmer, sharei zechir, sharei ziv, sharei zeri ter, sharei zeri chochma, sharei zeri bina, sharei des, sharei das, sharei chadva, sharei chemla, sharei chen v'chesed, sharei chaim tevim, sharei chochma, sharei tevu, sharei teya, sharei yeshua, sharei oisher. Sheikh Parish al Khalkala, Sheikh Abed Shai Limud, Shai Mazan Shabanicha, Shai Mikhila, Shai Mada, Shai Nechama, Shai Nikir, Shai Slicha, Shai Siyat, Dishmaya, Shai Ezu, Shai Fidu, Shai Fanasa, Taiva, Shai Tzedaka, Shai Tzahala, Shai Kedusha, Shai Kamimir, Shai Rachmim, Shai Watson, Shai Fuash, Leima, Shai Shalom, Shai Simcha Shemus, Taiva, Shai Shalva, Shai Sai, Shai Svila, Shai Tshuva, Shai Truklichsiv, she was the Dikmat, and some base story of Yesim. I'm a Safada news record. She line out Hologram or Holopsy issues. Elohim and Mako. So Ayech, that's Kolu Yachter and kind. Sien. The time one of Aden Elohim Makusha Kasav Command of Elohim. I got the Passer much me, Shalom Vasatif, Shmi Shua, Emilitin Malakala, Hwit and Militin, Shalom Vasatif, and Salah. They said us to do with Malkah Mashiach. By Yartzeit, you say Michtam Ladavid, Psalm 16. I should get it to him or try to say it by heart. Michtam leDavid Shamreini El Ki Chasisi Vachamat Ladino Adonai Tevasi Balalecha Lekdoishim Asher Bartzei Mavadir Kol Chapsivam Yartzeit Sabachem Halsikunis Kolmal Shmeisam Lasvasa Shvisi Adonai Lenegdi Samid Kimi Mini Balamoid Lachin Samach Libe Vegel Kvoidaf Vasish Kan Vedachatach So the Koloisa Zayvna Shusol Sin Chasid Chalis Shachas You know, I must have smoked a spinach and Chanetzach. Yeah, I missed part of it, I don't know. And Yishlach should be a school for protection on the road. Vayishlach Yaakov Melechem Lefan Elois of Artzis is their name. B'tzavay some lame more Kusim Miladani Elois of Kayamar Abdachel Yankov and Laban Garti Vechor Ata. Vayhili Shor Vachamor Tzayin Ve'ever V'shivchel V'shachal Hagid Lod and Lomsichin V'aynacha V'yeshua Malachim Yaakov Lemor. No Malach Yichalais of Gamelech Ukvas Chavar Imis Imay V'yiraha Yaakov Moed V'yait Loi V'yach That's Tamashi Tevis It's in the book of Mugabal Mushin Machanais V'ymer V'yait Oisav Alamachan Kas V'achas v'koi v'armach nilish l'fleit avim Yaakov v'lohei avi Avraham v'lohei Yitzchak v'lohei avi Yitzchak Adonai Emer Elai Shuv Artzacham L'adchanati v'imach v'im Yaakov v'lohei avi Avraham v'lohei avi Yitzchak Adonai Emer Elai Shuv L'artzacham L'adchanati v'imach Katainti v'kol ha'chasan v'kol ha'amas asher asis v's'avdecha k'mak li'avarati Ziyadin Azevat Ata ha'yisil Shnei Machanois Hatzileinu Nam Yadachim Eisav Kirayon Eichirosi Yvi Kani Malbonava Tahar Marta, Tivim Imach, Samtisracha, Kol Hayama Shali Safer Meirov, Vialan Shamalila, Hovia Kachman, Babia Doimin Isavachi, Vizam Simus Yashim Asim, Helma Simon Elam, Asim Gamalani Kosmanahim, Shlashim Faris, Arbarim for Masara, Sinasum Masara, Vitin Radavadam, and the aid of Lavada, Lavada, Iver Lafanavak, the Simony, Irvine, Aid there. It's Havis Vision Lay Markiv, Gosh, Isavachi, Shalchali Malamiat, and Selachamiat, Elafanacha, Martal Abdacha, Yakamin Hishlachalad, and Eloy Isavagame. Binagam Hoachrenim, it's Avgam Session, essentially, is a common scholar of Macharea, normally, Mokavers at ever on a lace of Sachamai Saiva Martem. Gabhina have the Hayak of a Krinikamacha Profanab, the Holachus Lufanai, Bachrichain, Era Fanav, Laisa Fanai, Tavaraman Khal, Fanav. Hulad Malila, Huba, Kanevi Akamalila, who, Vikacheste Nasaviste, Shivchaisavis Achar. Asa Yolada, Viavers Mava Yaboik, Vikachem Yavimus and Achal Yavers Oshaloi, Vivasi Yakov Livada Viavik, Ishimar Laisa Shachar, Vayar, Kilayachaloi Vigav Khafir, Khavitik Kafir, Yakov Kaimoi, V'yom Shalchini Kol Shacha V'yom Leishachachim Kechtani V'yom Love Mashmach V'yom Yaakov V'yom Yaakov Yodem Shimcha Kim Yisrael Kisris V'Elohim V'Moshe Tuchal V'Yishal Yaakov V'yom Hagidon Shmach V'yom Lozet Yishal Shmi V'Yechai Sham Yaakov Shem Welcome Pnei Kisris Elohim Panim Panim V'Nosel Nafshi V'Yizrach Lo Hashem Shkashav Avalos Panu El V'Hutzli Yechai Al King Lo Yachlu in Israel Es Gid Noshe Asher L'Kaf Yorach Ad Yom Hazeh Kinu Gab Chaf Yorach Yaakov Gid Noshe V'Yisa Yaakov V'Yinav Yav V'Hina Yerisav V'Imoyar B'Mayas Ish V'Yach Etzes Yom Val Rachel L'Shtei Shvachos V'yasem Mr. Shvachos v'yashil Deimishon Mr. Level Zerachin Mr. Rachel Yisem Mechunim Hu Avar Lefneim Yishtach Arts Shefa Famid Had Gishtayat Archiv Yartzeit of Lakosa Kovi Polosvavi Shokevi Kuvisus Einaviar the said Hashem Ziyaladim Yamilach Yomar Yaladim Ashchanan Elohim Asavdecha v'digash Shvachos Einav Yaladim Yishtach Vanim Gash Gam Le'av Yaladim Yishtach V'Achad Yigash Yosef Rachel Yishtach V'yom Melech Kol Machan Azeh Hashem Pagashti V'yom Elam Sechem Aynei Adini V'yom Yisav Yishlurav Yihilachar Shalach V'yom Yaakov Al Noam Lo Sechem Einecha L'kach Mincha Miyadi Yal Kinu Yisef Hanecha Kuris B'nei Elohim Atir Tzein Kachnam Smichas Yishum Vaslach Chananim Elohim Yesh Li Chol Yivsav B'Avi Koch From this all Neil Chamal Chalak Dach V'yom Elav Adini Yadei Kol Adam Akam Tzin V'Kam Alay So alive, Fakam Yarmech, and we so called Sin Yavna Adani, Left Yavna Manis, the Vegamlacha Shelafanela, Regula Yadamada Shavel Adani Seira. Vayamre Savat Siganaim, Hamanoma Shay TV, and Red Lamazim, Sechin Adani, Vashabayamahu, this will the dark of his Ira, Yankov, Nasa Sukais, and Lime Vice Mekaniasa Sukais, Alkin, Korsham, Welcome Sukais, Yakov Shalom Yeshchem, Shabards Kanan, Bavayai. Mi baden ora mi khanes pnei hayr vi kenes khalkas asad shnot sham halaym bnei khamor vi shkhem kusit beat of shem mizbeach vi kolay elo hey Israel. Thank you. I need to remember that. I need to, especially with our own families, at least myself. Yep, when you see water, the Baal Shem Tov says, say that water is a siman bracha, and especially Motzei Shabbos, they say that Motzei Shabbos, that the Be'er Shel Miriam goes all around. There's a story by Rabbi Isaac Kalaver, that about the Be'er Shel Miriam on Motzei Shabbos. So it's important to, get water maybe out of the sink, drink a little bit of Be'er Miriam. I think by Be'er Miriam visits all the bears, and I think in Skver, they actually shep water from a well every Motzei Shabbos for that. So. Zmiras from the Chavos Yoer. V'moitzoi yomnicha ekra v'kol tzvacha v'ito lahai b'ashkacha g'v'yiseni lafashucha shucha korazedem doivrim cherev chadim hardem etzikam yehidim v'in b'yodem moiche Mechetem chasichram zamechalem torim chelkam yiso shivram Tzvasam yushchu chashchich alafnechel v'ayneinu Yitam chatoim e'aleinu Katzbeinu harbe v'zareinu Lefnech yikoin v'hatzlicha V'hatzlicha v'titach ha'itz reisecha Maleyas ameinu me'berach reisecha Nafshenu talin b'tvasecha Sayd nefesh nenacha Nachal v'nin Ariel adas Yaakov Yisroel v'shlach v'hayel tzemchenu v'gula b'tucha v'sarvaf nechshuv v'akosh b'mshal davar perish tugar v'rasay masay takri v'asref v'asay k'koitzim k'sucha ma'is t'simeim t'veris Yisrael t'koy meim v'asisa k'asher s'meim v'loiser v'acha ruach ha'kodesh Taski leini in the Simmons V'sachad Richeini Chadesh Kanesh Nereini Nekayim Nalem Kefricha Kefrisa Kefifa Tzipor Achisha Slicha V'Kipor Techtam Yaleinu Sior Tzaryagoin Vanocha. Is there a Bismedrash? Was Lubavitcher Bismedrash where you live, or I'm just very interested. I'd like to visit sometime. I don't know, we'll see, but it's not easy. We're working full time, but Baruch Hashem, I have time off. We have to plan ahead. But I hope someday I'll be able to, you know, build additions on this house. It could be able to have guests. Right now, it's not shaykh, but I'm hoping sometime, or maybe other neighbors. I don't know. Elecho Elohim ekra b'choin bitori b'hitzaro azkra negina sivala ila galvasa gedufei goyim devoyim dechufim dechiyim nafshi v'sicha b'layla hish anti haftachas hagula Kaveh vayin makalala, mevolad vayi valayla zvulzrecha zamta, chelichatasam chasamta shemimami layla. Therefore, Toydai metul tolu, you hear me from Yichlu, Shabisika Ari. Kol halayla, kayach kvaydenu kalai, kalal falgus lefenecha lemalam. Vagisa bayimam valayla. Melech malit mera, neifes neviecha neisha, neisens mir, reis balayla. Sayvrecha, sivulim sechufim dascha, lechazuvim banchas yascha b'cholayla. Paratavleim, pishvainu, tzarifai tzarfeinu, kolayim v'cholalayla. Kvitzkav, hektoshach, haraserach, ashrayasecha. Ruchi ashacharecha balayla. Shaddai shamar shariseinu, tashiv sagiyat, sifarteinu, kirech, ukachavim balayla. Herav Ramamad, Sainenu, Mashiach, Ve'eliyah, Yavai, Livestream, Asa, Vaikeve, Gam Laila. I remember the Pittsburgher Rebbe. I used to go to him. I had friends who were Pittsburgher Chassidim, and yeah, that was he was a special person. He was the real deal. So, all right. And Tal also had something. I know the Clevelander, but I think he also had something with the Pittsburgher also. But I don't know. It was the Nigan Yisbuchu Hashamayim. That's the Pittsburgher Nigan. The whole world sings Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim. V'sagel haaretz, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umlo. So the sudal cover is from the Degel Machne Ephraim, and there's a Heinrich sudal cover Rebbe. I only know him from an interview they had with him. It was a Lubavitcher. He'd had it with the sudal cover Rebbe. I remember he said l'chaim on a cup of water. I'll say l'chaim on a cup of white birch beer. L'chaim type of l'sholem. But he said you could even make l'chaim on water. So that's what I remember. Degelmach and Ephraim was the Einakel from the Baal Shem Tov. And they say he quoted the Baal Shem Tov a lot, but he was a small child and the Baal Shem Tov was nifter. And he said, Shemati Mimari, you were always right. I heard from my master, from Baal Shem Tov Kodesh. So, they said, how did the Dagel know so much from the Baal Shem Tov? He said that he channeled him after his patira. So that Sefer B'nai Avraham Ahuvecha, that's the Sefer you mean it, about the Gerim? There's a new translation of the Degel, wow. Very nice, very nice. Alright, so Zayir Shpeit. I said already 20 minutes ago that I had to finish my stuff, but usually I say it a lot quicker, to be honest. Because I'm there, because I'm enjoying your company, everybody. That's why we're staying around, but it's really late, so we should really, I don't have that safer. I should get it, because, I'm top with Gerim a lot, and, but whatever it is, so I shall be very much sliach with everything. That you became a solo cover chassid. I should become a chassid. I should become a yid. They say that the Piasetzner, when he turned 40, he said he decided he's ready to be a megayer. He was a Rebbe already for 20 years. He was ready to become a yid. Like the Yiddish Kodesh said, every day he felt like just became a yid. Shall be zeicha to that and realize what it means. We should be. We should be. Big thing I would say is like this. If you are Jewish and you found out tomorrow you weren't Jewish, um, so would you be Megayer? So Rabbi Weinberger said he had one of his Talmidim found out he wasn't Jewish, and they said, "All right, tomorrow we're going to go to the Bezdin and we're going to take care of it." And he said the night before the Bezdin, he said, "Rabbi, I need to stay in your house because I know what I'm going to do. Just one night that I'm a goy. I'm so afraid, so I need to help the Chiddush. Even he could do whatever he wanted. He could go eat at McDonald's or whatever. And he wouldn't do it. And that's how we have to be, because we have to realize how precious it is to be from B'nai Avraham Ahuvecha. Whether we're born Jewish, whether we're Gerim, whatever. The simcha that we have to say every day Shlois and Igoy, it's not an insult to anybody else. We have good friends from the whole world. But we have to appreciate what we have. So, that's the test. Because how many people, if they would find out tomorrow, I mean, they live their whole lives from they found out tomorrow that they don't have to do this anymore, they would just drop the whole thing. Hashem should help us to be ehrlich and to do tshuva and to appreciate the blessings that we have. Chaim Tovim L'Shalom Chaim V'Bracha. Simchas. Thank you so much for sitting and we're spending time together. And like I said, I have to bench to get going. Adarabba, sing blood by right? We should all be able to see everybody else's pros and not their cons. All the positive aspects and not the negative aspects of all of our friends and everybody we know. So we should all keep doing the right things Notice the good things we're doing. Be happy about them. Go in the ways of the tzaddikim. Hashem shav rachmanis on all of us, that we should have everything we need, gashmius and ruchnius and everything. Remember, I always say over, I heard from Koblentzer Rebbe, Shlita, he said, what does it mean, that we say by tzaddikim? He says like this, he says, we all know that the Jewish tradition says, when you learn Torah, your reward for learning Torah is you're going to learn Torah in heaven, in the next world. You daven in this world, your reward in heaven will be, you'll daven in heaven. Of course, a much higher level. What about chesed you did in this world? In heaven, everybody has everything they need. So how can you do chesed? So Hashem rewards the tzaddikim for the chesed they did in this world by bestowing chesed on people who have a kesher. So the fact that we made the effort to come together tonight and have some kind of a kesher to the Rebbe Melech, or even people who are going to watch this later, or people who are involved in other things, making a kesher to the Rebbe Melech, and certainly all the people who are in Lezhensk right now. We spent Shabbos in Lezhensk, and they're in Lezhensk now, and they'll be in Lezhensk tomorrow. Many people who are in Lezhensk right now, but also those of us who travel to Lezhensk, like in the way that the Moranayim says that when you learn the Sfarim of Tzaddik, it's the same Indian of Fish that Al Kivrei, that it's the same concept of making the pilgrimage. So we learn the Noam Elimelech. We're in Lezhensk. We made the pilgrimage, and so all of us, we have a shaykhis the tzaddik, even in a small way. Hashem should reward the tzaddik by giving good things to us, whatever we need and much more, and whatever we want. If it's good, if it's healthy, and if it's positive. Health for our children, for our friends, for our family, parnasa, stability. All right, it's next week is already Parshas HaChodesh. We could already tell some of the stories. This is one story, Parnasa story, a few Parnasa stories. It was a Yid. He bought a barrel of whiskey. He was wholesale. He was going to sell it retail, right? And he came to a border, in Poland in those days was not one kingdom, certainly not one republic. It was many small feudal kingdoms. And so you travel from the border from one to the other, have to pay duty and go through customs, whatever. So the customs agents, they see they had a barrel of whiskey, and they seized it. So Yid goes to Elimelech. So what should I do? They took my whiskey. He said, go back to them, tell them you can each have a drink. You'll see it's just water, it's not whiskey. So then they were excited, they're going to get a taste, and they say, yeah, it's just water. So they let him, hey, you want to schlep around a barrel of water, you could take it. They gave it back to him. So then he went to Melech. So what am I supposed to do with a barrel of water? He said, taste it again, and went back to whiskey. He was able to sell it, made a big profit. He had money for Pesach for the whole year, for his whole life, and so too we should all be gebenched. We have other stories we'll tell next Shabbos, Amir Hashem, maybe before Shabbos also. But just like the seed he had Parnasa for Pesach, so too we all should have the event with Parnasa for Pesach, and for the whole year and for the rest of our lives we should be able to live as Erlich and the kind of responim banim of nebanim oiskim beterv mitzvahs al Yisrael shalom, and we should be zeicha to see the scholars coach of Mayim Amen. I thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment. Mr. Shem, we'll see each other another time. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I really appreciate it. Alright, I have to bench, but I'll bench off the live stream. How do I turn this thing off? So that does it, no? Yeah, this one. Alright. Bitte wach.